I stay Millie living, I stay living like Millie. I stay Millie living, I stay living like Millie. What? I stay Millie living.
Good boys listen to the Hock Pacua podcast.
Welcome back to the Hock Pacua podcast. Everything Pistol Pedias. This is your home right here. It's episode 15 now. Aidan, you're back here. You are a guest in week 1. Back here now. Nick, how's it going? Joined here by Aidan and Nick, both escape artists for different reasons. Aidan famously escaped the Mayo Bowl, which he was billed as the guy to beat in the Mayo Bowl for I don't know how many weeks or months that was. And Nick escaped playoff elimination with his win against his brother Robbie. If things were different, Chris would be in the 6. Nick would be out of it, but here we are. I'm sure you both are very happy on the outcomes from this week and beyond. So thanks for being here. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having me again, Dean.
Yeah. So boys, how are we doing? What's the mindset? Like I said, you guys lucked out in a way.
You want to start us off, Aidan, here?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll just say like my mindset. It's the best mindset I've had all season. I mean, totally. Maybe week 1. Yeah, just to escape the Mayo Bowl feels like such a weight off my shoulders. And never happier to be on league mandated vacation. I'm very excited.
Now I gotta say, feels great. Feels great. I mean, this was a weird year for my team. I think I started out like 2 and whatever. I think at one point, then the losses stacked up. Things looked really bad at one point. I still had DK Devonta Smith at my receiver with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Things looked rough at one point, but I don't know. My late round picks, I guess. Chris Olave's been decent. I'm not going to call him a wide receiver 1, but he's definitely helped my team along with a few others. But I made a lot of trades this year, and I don't know. Things kind of just worked out in the end.
Yeah, and Aidan, I mean, like I said, Genting in my Camaro was billed as the headliner of the Mayo Bowl from like mid-September to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, however long it's been. What was that like mentally and just week to week, day to day dealing with that, trying to do the best you can to field a roster each week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a very long season. But I think sort of in a roundabout weird way, just the knowledge that the season was off the rails from the get-go kind of helped me out because I started building towards the end. And I got I got a big week against Ant with RJ Harvey. Obviously, Rico Dowdle was huge down the stretch, and Pickens and Drake May. I mean, all of these guys I acquired with the Mayo Bowl in mind, and they were good enough that I could avoid it. And obviously, there was some help from Ant and some bad trades. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I feel like I talked about that a lot when I was outlining the escape, how it was going to happen. But that certainly went my way. And then obviously, Saquon to forever not winning another game until this. No, I guess did he lose out? No, he won this past week.
Win.
Can we just talk about this real quick? Because
Yeah.
there was that infamous game between Aidan and Saquon to forever, and I believe that game ended with like a less than 5 point swing on Monday Night Football. It was a complete heartbreaker.
Zach Ertz.
Aidan looked like he was going to win it. Zach Ertz ended up winning the game for Saquon to forever. From that moment on, Saquon to forever was cursed and became formally Saquon to forever and did not get a single win till the last week of the year after that week 5 curse. I mean, it's crazy looking back in hindsight.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, and if there's one thing I know, it's that God is a Gentying fan. That's for sure.
Definitely is true.
And one thing to note about that is Zach Ertz having playing such a factor in that Monday night miracle that Will had. It took until he has a season, possibly career-ending injury this past week to break the curse and give Will another win. So his leg kind of going backwards, and however you want to describe it, that could be something. It could be
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not superstitious, but or whatever it's
and
called.
starts Zach Ertz, and then his knee falls off the bone. I
And
mean,
Will
what are you gonna?
wins.
Yeah, and will win. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. It's been that kind of season, especially since the and Gibbs trade. It's just been that kind of year for formerly Hock Pacua podcast.
Yeah.
So it sucks, you know.
I just
I don't
gotta
wish it on anybody.
I gotta just show this real quick too. I don't know how to flip my camera on this app, but I gotta just show this. If let me know
Yeah.
if you guys can see. Yeah, this might not work.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is week
probably.
2.
But this was Aiden's
Oh, week
team
3.
week three. I mean, looking back at that lineup.
Scooch it to the right a little bit.
Yeah,
The
to go to
right.
the other side.
Oh,
Yep.
nope, I'll
There
go
we
this
go.
way. Yeah.
Wait,
So
wait, no, wait, the other way.
Kick it to the right.
There we
There we
go.
go. I
there we go.
got it.
And now my screen just went darker.
See, we
But
got Bo Nix, Genty, Connor, CD, T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins. Mark Andrews with 27.1. What a week. Jameson Williams, one of the two guys that made it the whole way on this team.
Yep.
Dicker, who I dropped for no reason. Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
look back and it's like T. Higgins had no Burrow coming off of that week. CeeDee Lamb was fresh off an injury. James Conner was injured. I mean, Mark Andrews was Mark Andrewing, and I mean, Jamison Williams did not look good the first stretch. Like it was looking really bad. Aside, Bo Nix looked terrible too. Even Ginty, no, not one guy on like your whole team at that current moment was producing. Like it looked like you were in roster hell, and you managed to work a way out of it. So I gotta commend that right now.
thank you, Nick. We are done with the Las Vegas Raiders. That is for sure. I can't do it again. I mean, and honestly, like, I don't even think it was Genty's fault, really. That offensive line is the worst offensive line I have ever watched. My God, he gets hit. He gets hit behind the line of scrimmage damn near every time he carries the ball. It was torture watching him. All his points, seemingly down the stretch, kind of came from receiving, which is not what you want in your second round running back. So, I mean, it was a tough ride, but I believed in Genty the whole way. You know, next season we'll see what they do to the offensive line, but I just don't think that he'll make his way back to my roster. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a firm believer in him too. I probably messaged you about wanting him
Yeah,
almost every single week this year, and I did really want him. And then when it came down to it last week, I mean, or 2 weeks ago, you ended up not wanting to pull a trigger on a trade for him and Justin Jefferson, but also at the same time, like it was close. I don't know if I still would have done it, but it's like Genie was such a weird player because I wanted him in Bowers, but that offense, like, how can you trust that offense? Even with Brock Bowers in there, it's tough on any given week to trust anyone.
yeah, no, and full disclosure, I probably would have done that trade or at least really considered it a lot more if there was more runway for me after last week. Like for me, it was just I was purely in the mode of like gotta win week 14, or at least try. Once I beat Ant, I think I kind of felt pretty good about everything, especially with kind of the strength of the gritty gang. Um, but uh, but yeah, for me, it was all about just like finishing out the year and not really looking ahead to the playoffs. So that was the logic there.
Yeah. And now Nick and I get to sit and watch two ferocious matchups go head to head. Aiden, you get to relax. You guys are kind of in the off season now. Anything that you're gonna take into the off season or bring with you into the draft? Kind of
Yes.
strategically. I know it's super early, but off season starts now. So
Less so many lessons learned this year. I think number one, like when you go in with a draft strategy, you can't go into the draft being like, oh, I'm going to draft this guy this round and then that guy that round. Because my whole plan was like, okay, Kevin is going to take CD and then I'll get McCaffrey. And that fell, I mean, the plan was over within 7 picks, but even less so with that, like my big second round guy was Derrick Henry, which obviously kind of wouldn't have worked out in its own way. Um, but literally when Henry got picked, I mean, everything was just off the rails for me. So I got to have a little bit of a better strategy and then more importantly, stick to it. I was like, there's no way I'm taking a quarterback in the first couple rounds. And then I take Jaden Daniels, who obviously you know all too well
Yeah.
has been a disappointment here in year
Can we
two. So yeah,
can
go
we
ahead,
also
Nick.
just discuss too the other strategy of I believe this year was a big year where every rookie went too early. I mean, hindsight, you look back, no rookie really performed up to their draft position. The only one you can really truly make the case for is Hampton, who got hurt. He would have performed to it, but he got hurt. Aside from that, there was not a single rookie this year. Agbuka was good for a short stretch. Like, everyone was way too high on these rookies this year.
No, fully agree. I think with me and Genty, it was like, wow, sixth overall pick at running back. Like, I thought you think you never see a top 10 running back again after Saquon. So, or I guess Bijan. So that's wrong. But Bijan's different. Like, I don't know. It's just like he's billed as the best ever. He should have won the Heisman last year. It just made sense to me that he was going to be a beast, but clearly not everyone can overcome just a skeleton crew offensive line. So it was a tough year.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raiders are very, jet-like in a way, where,
Oh,
you know,
worse than the Jets. I mean, my God.
yeah, it's like a guy goes to the Jets, and you're gonna be like Brees Hall. If Brees Hall was drafted to a different team, Brees Hall, I feel like everyone would be like, oh, this guy's top 5 running back in the league. If he
Yeah.
doesn't get hurt, if his career's different, it's just like the Raiders. It's another place where guys go to die. So
Oh my goodness, is it ever? Yeah, that was torture. I don't wish a Raider on any
It's
league
kind of
members. Obviously, I have the other league member here that owns a Raider, but yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of like being on formerly Hock Pacua podcast.
true. Fuck that
Players go to
podcast.
die there.
Oh,
uh,
yeah, that's
yeah,
true. Players do. Well, players go there and succeed, and then they just get terminated on Monday morning, and it's like, why?
yeah.
What did I do?
It's a good job. You're going to Rags Gritty. So Nick, you had a stressful Monday night playing your brother on the brink of elimination. Um, if things ended differently, you'd be with Aidan in the 7-8, in the 7-8 limbo. Instead, you have the bye. So it would have been a crazy swing to go from 1 to 7. Chris would have slotted up into the 6. Kevin Hall could have gotten a bye, which is another crazy outcome that could have happened. So if you can just tell me a little bit of what
I
Monday
mean,
was like,
I got
any discussions with Robbie at the time, or kind of how does it feel to be in the position you're in now?
I'd like to first just go back in time. So, I mean, I traded with Will back in what was that, like week 8 when I did Devin Achan and
Yeah,
who was it? Devin Achan, Wandale Robinson, and Daniel Jones for pretty much Drake London and Barkley. And I looked at that and I thought it was a fair trade, but I also was like, I'm getting Barkley. He's going to be great at the time, like better second half. And London was just going off right away. I remember I came off like I came off a scorching hot win against like Chris that week, and I thought the bye week I could get this. I have a shot now. And it did not seem possible all year. Then that next week, I remember it was the week I went on the podcast this very last time, and Ant had a team of just like everyone was on bye. It made no sense on paper, and it looked like a sheer blowout. Ant was like defeated on the podcast that week. And sure enough, I won, but it was much closer than I thought. Like I barely topped like 100 points along with Ant, just barely got to 100 points. He might have just missed it. But then I don't know. Things got tough after that. I was like getting a loss, then getting a win, and like I didn't really think I was gonna make it here. I mean, like I kind of did. I knew that it was possible, but like I mean, once I came off that loss on Kevin last 2 weeks ago when I played Kevin, I just thought like, I mean, I could beat Robbie. That's why I made the trade last week for Jonathan Taylor, which in hindsight, I need a lot of things to go my way with that now that Daniel Jones is out. But like, we ride. We got the bye week. We ride. Same thing with Justin Jefferson. But I mean, it was really just that whole night. That whole day was stressful leading up to it because I had a 4 point lead. And the Eagles, I mean, it's just a tough team to watch this year. You don't know if your players are going to explode, which Barkley that night, I mean, I thought that Robbie was winning off that first drive, especially. Like,
yeah,
Hampton had a touchdown. He had the lead. I don't know what happened. Lad McConkey, I don't even think he had a single catch that game then after that. And Barkley just started playing better. But that whole game was so stressful to watch. And I don't know what to say. Until Barkley broke that touchdown on that fake tush push, I did not think I was even going to make the playoffs. And then here we are now. Chris led the division for like the first 6 weeks by such a wide margin of our dog shit division, and then now he's out of the playoffs. I mean, it just goes to show like you can never be too content with your team. It's like if Aidan was too content with his team after 3 weeks and said, I drafted these guys, they're going to get better. Some of them probably did get better, but he wouldn't have had George Pickens. He wouldn't have had Rico Dowdle. He wouldn't have had key contributors to his team that he got down the stretch.
It's
Yeah,
true. No,
yeah.
I think the same thing is just that with Mr. Jackson's neighborhood, it kind of comes down to like more or less poor roster management because I think he kind of got dealt a bad hand just with how ineffective Lamar and Derrick Henry kind of were for long stretches this season. Obviously, Lamar was hurt and missed some time, but to end the regular season with tight end one and two on your roster, at least I think that's probably how it ended up is just, I mean, that's just tough. I understand like holding out for value, but especially towards the end, I'm sure the offers that he was getting for Warren probably weren't like ideal. I know for a fact, I know I offered like Sutton and Devonta Smith. So, I mean, that's not really kind of what you're looking for a guy that's top three at his position, I'd say. But that's probably like he said that was the best offer he got, so I can only imagine what other league members were
And
were throwing his way.
I remember I offered him several times through the year. I believe Chris Olave straight up, and like again, nobody likes Chris Olave, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you like he's a top five receiver. He's prime Rome Odunze. However, in points on the year, he's been consistently producing, and when you're lacking any solid wide receiver production, it'll help your team the same way. Cortland Sutton's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but he would have been much more of a help than starting Tyler Warren at flex every week.
No,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. It's just kind of like in hindsight, I bet he would have taken Olave for Warren straight. Um, because having Warren as your flex while your wide receivers are kind of just rotating Pittman and Khalil Shakir. I mean, that's less than ideal. So you can kind of see how it fell apart, and I think you could make a pretty legitimate argument that the Mr. Jackson's neighborhood roster is arguably the weakest one in the league right now. Obviously, he doesn't care because he's also on vacation. But yeah, I think you can make a legitimate argument for that.
Yeah, and just one thing, it's kind of like a testament of like you guys said, roster management. Ant makes the most trades in the league this year. There was a stretch there where it seemed like every single week he was making a deal, and now he's in the Mayo Bowl. Chris didn't make one trade the entire season. He misses the playoffs. And then you look at guys like, I don't want to dog on these guys or like say this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't, but I guess the rhetoric would be kind of making smart deals or making deals at all in Chris's scenario where Nick, you and I usually make a lot of deals throughout the year. This year was kind of maybe like less than usual, but like you said, you made some, I guess, like risky ones or ones that you thought you were better off with. They ended up helping you or hurting you in different aspects, but Aidan, you completely reconstructed your team with trades, especially early on, and really worked out. And kind of like you said, Aidan, I mean, Chris ends up with tight end 1, 2 top 10 quarterbacks, I believe, and neither of them are Lamar. So that's another thing that's, when you have a lot of guys at positions where you only start one each week, they become more valuable, especially a tight end, where it's tough to get those top guys. And yeah, if you just, if he would have
yeah,
made one or two deals, if he would have got CD early on and flipped him, who knows what could have happened to that 5-2 team after 7 weeks. So
that's the other very overlooked team. I mean, when you look at his team from week one till I believe the last week, pretty much everyone's still on there except for Garrett Wilson and Neighbors. I think those are really the only two, and Caleb Johnson, who he drafted. Everyone else on his team is still on there, and that goes to show too. The other problem with holding your players for too long, you're not churning waivers, you're not adding players. He very well could have ended up being the guy who had Rico Dowdle this year, or someone else who had
Michael
a good
Wilson.
stretch. Michael Wilson. He could have had one of those guys. But when you're saving all those roster spots for guys you drafted, it becomes very tough. You need to know when to jump ship on certain guys, which it's tough. Just didn't happen this year, I guess.
I could see a world where when Neighbors goes down, he's like, okay, like my team's really good. I'm gonna ride it out here. But when Garrett Wilson ends up on IR, I think that's when you got to do something. So I think next year you see a totally different Mr. Jackson's Neighborhood or whatever his new team will be called if we don't franchise. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see with that. But yeah, if we want to move on to the big matchups of the week, which are just crazy. First off, you got you got the Battle of the Kevins,
I
and
got
then
Kevin.
what?
I got
I,
Kevin.
I got Kevin as well. But for the other
So
one, I
you
mean,
got Aidan.
you have number
yeah,
four.
I'll take Kevin in that one.
But you have number 4 Alex versus number 5 Robbie, which is just crazy to say when you look at their teams, look at the star power. Um, those two teams could have been 1 and 3. They didn't get their key wins in week 14, and they end up 4 and 5, having to play each other. So, what do you guys make of this one?
I mean, I guess I'll start. I gotta go pull for Rob. I mean, I can't not, but Alex put together a really good team, and I really got to give it to him. My team is DKing. I mean, trading him McCaffrey there, that's just, I mean, it put his team over the top when you look at it on paper. That being said, Harold Fannin also, unironically now, good guy to
Yes,
own, especially if Njoku's out. A very good guy to own. So with the rookie quarterback, he's going to get targets. The only guy I'm not
full
crazy
circle
about
moment for you.
actually there's two guys I gotta say on paper when I look at his lineup where I'm not crazy about them is Woody Marks and Diggs. Which why is Woody Marks starting? I thought he had someone else. No,
Brees Hall is
no Brees.
he might not play.
Okay, well I'm gonna say if Brees Hall plays, I mean I know Woody's been solid, but if Brees Hall plays, I give the edge to Alex. But if not, I think I saw enough of Hampton last week where I genuinely do think eating my words now. I was always the biggest Hampton hater. Like he looked really good last week. I was scared of him sending me in my grave last week. But there's two big problems with Robbie's team right now. It's wide receiver two in Lad McConkey now that Drake London didn't play. You don't know if you're gonna get like another stinker with zero, which usually after a week like that, he's bound to put up some points. That's usually how it goes. And then Jerry Judy at flex is a weird one. I mean, I think yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I know he had a touchdown last week, but who else is on the bench? Yeah, that's tough. So I mean, it's two guys there with Ladd and Judy especially is going to be boom or bust. But if they play good, I give it to Robbie. If not, I mean, it's got to go to Alex. But Josh Allen and James Cook too. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get if it's going to be a huge week or just a solid week. But they're high floor, extremely high ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off what you said about Judy, we got two Browns starting in a playoff matchup, and neither is Judkins. That's kind of interesting. I would say that kind of to what you guys were thinking, I would give the edge to Alex for sure here. His team is just so strong, courtesy of DKing in many ways. I mean, we touched on it a couple weeks ago, Dean, but to add McCaffrey to the team he already had with Njigba on it,
It's
I
ridiculous.
mean, it's unreal. He would probably be my like favorite right now. Probably him or Gritty Gang is my favorite to win, just with the just sheer star power. I mean, both of them have two probably legitimate top 7 or 8 players on their team. So I think that's just the advantage. And then I will say about Rob, I don't think anyone drafted better than Rob. So I'll throw that out there to get Allen, Taylor, and I guess it was Jefferson, so that didn't really go his way. But especially with Taylor, where he got him, I would say that that was maybe. I mean, again, you don't want to say best pick because we just talked about Njigba, but his team was really strong kind of
I
from the
mean,
get-go.
and that's not even that's overlooking too. He drafted George Pickens had he held on to him.
Drafted Pickens, he was good on the waiver wire. He picked up Drake May and Hunter Henry, who were
Yes.
crucial to my Mayo escape. But yeah, I would say that maybe his trades weren't the best throughout the year. To do Pickens for Lad, obviously a little egg on the face there. But I don't think that went the way that either of us thought. Um, and then to trade Taylor, who is more or less the reason that he got here. It's interesting. We'll see how it plays out. He's had a team that's scored a lot of points some weeks. I think kind of what you said, Nick. It'll just come down to what Josh Allen and James Cook turn in, and then we'll see. But yeah, I would say that Alex takes this.
If Rob does make it out of this, though, here's what I will say: if Drake London does happen to come back next week, it's a scary team with St. Brown, Drake London, and McConkey at receiver with his running backs and quarterback. But I mean, if he's out, probably gone too early then, because I think after this week, it's going to be a really good team on paper, and there's going to be a lot of points on each week. But when you're out, you're done. I don't know.
Yeah, and I vividly remember week one. I doubted him. So I doubted the team. So clearly doubting him, it doesn't stop him. He made it here, and he had the bye secured for a better portion of the season. So yeah, I would say that while I'd give the edge to Alex, if Rob's team kind of turns in a good week, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, these are two teams that had the longest winning streaks as well this season, which makes this super interesting to see. That's usually what you like to see going into the playoffs, where it's one game elimination. But for this matchup, Alex may have some issues in the RB2 spot. That's both Woody Marks and Brees Hall dealing with some injuries there. But the good thing for Alex is, like you guys said, he has CMC. I mean, when you have McCaffrey, it kind of negates how much you need from your RB2. And you saw that with Kevin Hall all season. You saw that with Robbie when Travion Henderson wasn't even serviceable for the first half of the season, it seemed like, when he had Taylor. But yeah, even if he ends up going Tony Pollard, I don't even hate that when you look at the rest of his lineup. I mean, Mahomes always shoves it to the Chargers. Nico and JSN have both been phenomenal. Harold Fannin. I mean, Nick, it's like a full circle moment where it's like,
I know.
this guy's one of the top tight ends right now with Njoku out. And the whole first episode you were on, it was like kind of dogging him for picking him up at the time. But even Diggs here, I mean, he's cooled off a bunch, but playing his former team can maybe spark something. Could be cinematic, perchance. But this lineup's scary. It's scary as someone looking at this matchup, knowing that I have to face one of these guys. It's not a good feeling. But because even on the other side, you have Robbie, who has a squad that you just can't overlook. After I think he was 0-2 or 0-3, I forgot what it was, but a lot of people wrote him off early, and then look what his team did. But for his team, I mean, Josh Allen coming off a 35-plus point game isn't what you love to see in the first round of the playoffs, because if you look at it, after every ginormous game he had, he scores 8 to 11. It seems like
Happened to me last year.
Yeah, so that's not ideal. But he has James Cook, so maybe it's a James Cook game script. You never know. Omarion Hampton getting 14-plus carries in his first game back after missing multiple weeks is a good sign. He could be totally back, like kind of how Bucky is. Amon-Ra put up a good showing. Kelsey should be solid if, he should offset some Mahomes points. But yeah, his big question marks are with Ladd and Jerry Jeudy at flex. I mean, I drafted Jeudy in the 6th or 7th round, and he's really been nothing all year. He got a touchdown off of Shador's big game, but I don't know. It's a really tough one, especially with Robbie's flex up in the air with no Drake London. I'm giving it to Alex just based off the matchups and looking at everyone he has, kind of less question marks. But yeah, I'm going to take Alex here. Not that I want Alex. I don't want anybody, but that you get what you get. So yeah, it's my analysis.
Fair assessment.
Yeah, so if that's it for that one, we have the Battle of the Kevins next, which Nick, you're looking at this one closely.
Looking at this, and I got Kevin, but let's see. I mean, obviously everyone's gonna say on paper, Rags Gritty Gang's taking this. I mean, on paper, it looks like DKing's gonna get steamrolled. But I mean, listen, DKing's made it here so far. I like a good underdog story. I think DKing, something's going to happen here. I don't know. Maybe this is a Rashid Shaheed monster week. Maybe Debo Samuel puts up 25 points against the terrible Giants secondary, which more likely than not, Debo will probably have a huge game. His running backs, I mean, listen, his team's on paper, it's not a good looking team. However, what I will say, the running backs across the board are all very solid. I mean, Travion, Javante, and Etienne now.
Yeah.
It's a solid three running backs to start. Debo's probably going to feast on the Giants. And then, I mean, Rashid Shaheed for fun. Like, I don't know. Like, Rashid Shaheed for fun. Hopefully he catches a deep ball and gets a touchdown on it. But I don't know. I'm liking the upset here. I want to play DKing second round, so I'm pulling for DKing. And, if DKing makes it second round, crazier things have happened than if my team then loses to him too, and if he makes it to the chip. So I got DKing in this one.
Yeah, kind of like you said, Nick. I have Kevin in this. I would say that kind of your point about Shaheed, but really kind of more or less up and down the roster, right? He's going to need a lot to go right. He's going to need these guys to find the end zone. I think also to your point that you'd rather play DKing kind of says enough about this matchup. Yeah, the Rags Gritty Gang is just, I mean, in almost every position, it's just miles above. It might actually be every position.
The only problem is he got rid of Roma Dunze.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, and now
that's
he'll
huge.
he'll help formerly HPP find his way through. But yeah, I would say that kind of to what I said about Rob and my doubts about DKing. 3 weeks ago when I was on, you know, I didn't think there was sort of any way. I think that uh, sorry, DKing, excuse me. I didn't want to say Kevin. Um, I think that DKing kind of put the nail in his own coffin with that trade. And then he made it anyway. Now, granted, I'm not sure even the Seahawks would have believed that their defense was capable of what they've done the last couple weeks. I think it was 28 last week and then 20 this week. I mean, that's just unheard of from a defense, at least on a kind of like back-to-back weeks. And then, asking your defense to carry you is certainly a strategy. But I mean, it's already happened 2 weeks here, back-to-back wins. So I would say that anything's possible. I was kind of twerking for Gritty Gang this week. I was such a cuck this week. I was rooting for a different team. Um, but I would say that I saw with my own two eyes how good that team is. So yeah, I would say this is kind of Gritty Gang in a slaughter. But you never want to rule out the Seahawks defense.
No, and it's so easy to look at projections and trends and look at all the stats that Kevin Judge will send you or try to psyop like the group chat with, but it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to look at his team, look at what he's projected for. But one guy that keeps beating projections and beating everyone's beliefs is Kevin Hall, and my team is DKing. It's so easy to look at Gibbs, Chase Brown, Rashee Rice, Puka, a special teams of Texans and Jason Myers, like probably clears everybody at the moment. So yeah, down to his last spots of his lineup, Rags Gritty Gang is just stacked. But what does my team is DKing have that Rags Gritty Gang doesn't? That's
Magic.
heart. Magic. That's art. That's culture. That's determination. That's magic.
Voodoo magic.
Everyone counted DKing out. No one thought a squad led by the Seahawks defense could pull off the impossible. Look where he is. He's doing it. He's playing Gritty Gang in the first round. And, everyone can come to their conclusions. But with this one, I'm going to take Gritty Gang. I know you probably expected me to go
You
deep
guys,
in there.
you guys wait for when Debo Samuel goes for 40 points on the Giants secondary.
Yeah.
I said it first.
And I hope it happens. And I hope it
Yeah.
happens.
Hock Pacua parlay, make sure you put Debo Samuel touchdown and also throw Debo Samuel over 60 yards in there.
Debo
locks this
touchdown was
week.
actually going to be my pick. I'm not even kidding. Yeah,
He
but
dropped one last week. One
but
quick note about the
yeah,
Gritty Gang.
yeah.
He did say that Genting and Mike Kamara was inept for losing to Queen Thickness. The only thing I'd like to say about that is that, I kind of secured his place on the Nader side of the bracket. So in many ways, you could argue that's better than a bye. So um, you're welcome, is all I have to say.
You
You're
know what?
welcome.
My team's not a team of slouches.
True, it's true, it's true. But you know, while trying to hold my tongue a little bit, if he wins, he gets, the winner of, or he gets you. Whereas, Dean is probably staring down the barrel of the Njigbas. So, it's just a tough place to be. And although you did improve your team drastically last week, so we could, we'll see. It could go, it could
Listen,
go anyway, and he could just
here's
lose to DK.
I got one thing to say about my team. Justin Jefferson might have looked like shit again. He might have looked like shit again, but I only did that trade with hopes that the scenario would occur that I get this bye because Jefferson comes back and plays the Giants next week. I'm
And not,
expecting that to be his
nine
bounce
looked
back
good.
game.
Nine
Nine
looked
looked
good last
nine
week.
looked good, and he's going to be playing the Giants secondary. I'm a firm believer in they will get torched.
Jefferson's due. He's due.
He's due.
Do.
It's why I traded for AJ Brown. When a good player is due, they are due. I
One thing
trust
that
talent.
that made me a little confused is that he threw for 3 touchdowns on like 160 yards. Like that's just not something you see. I don't know.
Their defense was rallying.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. This is tough. I mean, kind of like Aidan said. I think if I had to pick my favorites, I don't want to cuck out as well, but I think Najigbas and Rags Gritty Gang are two of the scariest teams in the bracket. I don't know how you feel, Nick, but it feels nice to at least get a bye and be alive for next
Yeah,
week and hope to see what happens.
but here's another quick tidbit. Okay, while they are the scariest, I don't think one of the underdogs will prevail. Which one, I don't know. That's why I'm taking both the underdogs. One of the two underdogs will prevail. I mean, it's bound to happen. So, will Robbie win or will Kevin win? And
Yeah.
by Kevin, I mean DK. One of them will win this week. Mark my words.
Yeah.
And I hope it happens.
I hope it
Yeah.
happens on my side of the bracket. Actually, no, I hope Rob wins too. But
Yeah. You know how it goes.
that's no shade to Alex's team. But gotta root for Rob. I gotta pull there.
Yeah. What's the connection?
I don't know. What could it be?
Yeah. But yeah, those are the matchups. I mean, we'll see what happens. It looks like
Wait, did I cut out on my back?
no, yeah, you're good. Yep.
Okay, I just got like a phone call real quick. I declined
Yeah.
it. Should be good.
Yeah, so those are our playoff matchups. Aidan gets to chill with Chris in the 7-8, and when you look all the way down, you have Ant and Will in the Mayo Bowl.
Ugh,
Now,
this is
What
the
a
fun
matchup.
one. This is where we get to the fun
this
stuff.
is no more Mayo Watch. Now we're literally watching Mayo. So Mayo Watch becomes
I like that. Let's get that on a shirt. Watching Mayo with both of them on there.
watching Mayo with both of their faces and logos. But yeah, the good thing about this is I know Aidan, you could agree with me or hear me out on this or relate. Is it's 3 weeks, so even though both teams have a lot of question marks on both sides, you have 2 more weeks, 2 more opportunities to make up what you lost. So yeah, I mean this is heading into week 1
Yeah.
of the Mayo Ball.
I mean, you and I both know it, Dean. It's no fun being in the Mayo Bowl. And then, kind of your point there, when I lost the Mayo Bowl, I remember beating Pete 2 of the weeks, but Pete just beat me by so much the other week that I couldn't overcome it. Um, yeah, I would say that, I admittedly I've been a little tuned out. I didn't look at many of the matchups this week. I wasn't paying too much attention after I secured my 8 seed that
Not
I wanted oh
expecting
so
that
bad.
after that season.
Um, but when I did check this morning, I was genuinely stunned to see Saquon to Forever favored in this one. I mean, truly, like, this has got to be the first time he's been favored in weeks. I mean, weeks. And then when you look at his team, I mean, it's easy to see how that could be the case. I mean, just up and down the roster, it's just like, holy shit, like, this is so bad. Just completely backpacked by A-Chain. Uh, I mean, and so in many ways, Nick, you are to thank for the reason he has a chance. Like, could you imagine if he had Saquon in that spot this week? My God, I mean, would he even score 100? Like, and he still might. Like, oh God, this team is so
Then
bad.
again, though, I think Saquon's playing the Raiders this week. I will say
That's true. If
it's
it's
the
ever going to
Raiders.
happen, if it's ever going to happen, it will happen this week. But I mean, you just
That's
look
why I
at it.
traded for him. I had it penciled down for the Raiders, but we don't even
Yeah.
have to worry anymore.
But that's
I
the
mean, but
thing
it
though,
just,
like Achan is matchup proof. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
it's true. It
Yeah.
is. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, it's not going to have too much pull this week, but just having A-Chain versus Warren on Monday night, that could maybe add a little stake and to see who maybe takes the first matchup. But yeah, I mean, just looking at Will's team, like my goodness, Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback. You're kidding.
I mean,
Um,
to be fair though, when you look at it, Brissett, since he's started playing in week 6, his lowest game is 18.6
wow.
points.
I'm looking at it. I'm
He's a
looking at
pretty
Like
it.
consistent.
he just had another 19 points against a good Rams defense. Like he's unironically good.
You
Yeah.
make a great point, honestly, because now that I'm looking at it, you do make a great point. However, with Houston this week, I don't know any quarterback that can kind of surpass that defense. I mean, you just saw Mahomes last week do nothing, um, despite the fact that you know he's Mahomes. But I mean, you just look at it like the wide receivers being Zay Flowers and Wandale. Wandale proved to be kind of a good ad. Zay Flowers just had the best week of his season.
Listen,
Kind of what we've been saying about all these players, like they have a good week, then they have a bad week, and I would like to see how that looks with Zay Flowers. Kareem Hunt is the flex, like holy moly, this is crazy. But anyway, yeah, if you have something to add, Nick.
I do actually. Kobe Brissett. Last week, I think it was on Saturday. Daquanda Forever inquired to me about who I think they should start at quarterback, Daniel Jones or Jacoby Brissett. Prior to right when he asked me, my quick answer right away was definitely Daniel Jones. Then, a couple drinks came in. I turned around and I said, wait a minute, his leg. And I
Yeah,
looked. And then I was like, last week, the week prior to that, Daniel Jones rushed for 1 yard. Now, I told him play Brissett, and thank God he did, and I am happy he took that advice there because if he did not, and he played Daniel Jones, I'm probably then DKing's probably not in playoffs. Neighborhood is the bye week team, and
Wow.
I am playing right now. So I just gotta say I'm the
That's
biggest
crazy.
Jacoby Brissett truther. Before that, I looked at it right away and I was like, Jacoby Brissett's playing the Rams. That's a really tough matchup. He proved me wrong, and he's gonna prove everyone wrong against Houston this week. I
wow,
ride with
Wild.
Brissett, and
there we go.
I ride with Saquonda forever after that. They gave me my bye week.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy because this is coming from Daniel Jones lover as well, right? You run the account.
Huge, huge Daniel Jones fan. Of course, I run the account. I also run the Evan Neal account.
Yes.
I
Oh,
would just say like if I'm gonna kind of like shit on like Will's team, I feel like I gotta weigh in on Ant's team. Like it's so weird because like I think part of the shock factor for me in seeing that ESPN projects a Saquonda victory this week is you look at Ant's team and there's legitimately more star power there between Jacobs, Lamb, and Devontae. Um, and even like filling in the gaps, like I would rather Christian Watson as my flex this week. I think actually now that I say that, he's starting Mark Andrews. That's tough.
I'd rather have Christian Watson than Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. It's just like I wonder if part of the reason is the fact that he's got four players in the lineup that are all questionable, so they all have concerns kind of on different degrees than others. I think Herbert gets crushed every week. Bold take, look for him to Andrew Luck in a couple of years. Um,
Have you have you considered that one of these guys pushes all the wrong buttons?
it's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, I would just say though, like with Jacobs, Edie's coming off a concussion. I'm guessing the fact that, they even like have a projection with him means he's probably trending towards playing. He did hit his head really hard though. And then Devontae Adams, it's just like you're going to need a touchdown. You saw last week what happens when he doesn't catch one. Yeah, I mean it's just so tough. I mean, I said earlier that I would probably go with Saquonda just out of spite, um, which makes no sense because, geez, I hate both these organizations. Oh boy, who am I picking? I said that I want Saquonda forever, and I think that Genting and Mike Kamara FC, aka Saquonda hater, chose Saquonda as well. I would say, I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm gonna go with Ant. This is such a skeleton crew of people on Saquonda Forever's roster that is completely driven by A-Chain. If A-Chain has a bad week, hard to see where the points are going to be made up. He has a big advantage with Kittle at tight end. I don't know. I mean, if A-Chain has one bad week, or God forbid he gets hurt, which he did last week, I don't think he came back last week. Yeah, that's something to look for. If anything happens to A-Chain, I don't see how Ant could lose. And then even then, I just think that, Ant's team just has a few extra heads that Saquonda Forever does not. So it could really go either way. It's going to be a super interesting Mayo Bowl. Really, what a great matchup, though. Very, very excited for the matchup. Hopefully they, talk to one another a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully Will is like, oh, but what about that tough loss 3 months ago? And hopefully Ant is like, do you say anything different? I get it. I traded Puka. I'm like, well, okay, it is what it is. Hopefully they play the hits this week. But yeah, I'll go with Ant. I'll switch my pick around. Not sure what you guys are feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, it's a 3 week matchup. This week, I'm leaning towards Ants, but for the whole 3 week stretch, in my own opinion, I think Will wins the Mayo Bowl. My main reasoning for it is, first off, Zay Flowers is a guy. He's gonna be terrible some weeks. He's boomer bust completely. Like, I mean, he's gonna have like one week where he's putting up at least 25 points. It's pretty much bound to happen with him. I don't think it's a bad Mayo Bowl start. Being that it's 3 weeks where it's playing, that could be 2 out of the 3 weeks. It could be 1 out of the 3 weeks. I think regardless, when it balances out, he's going to be a fine player for a 3 week matchup. On top of that, T. Higgins is on the bench. When T. Higgins comes back, he goes nuclear in the playoffs every year. One of those 2 weeks, he will be good. And I mean, Wandale's a fine flex. Wandale really should be in the flex right now, but Higgins is out. Wandale's been solid. I mean, I watch the Giants games every week. He's a PPR monster. He's like Chris Olave. He's the only receiver really getting all the targets. He's pretty much had double digit points every week since Dart's been in there, aside from maybe like 3 weeks at most, but he's been solid. He's a good flex to have. Now, running back, I don't understand the hate for Kyron. I'm not saying he's a top five running back, but Kyron's at RB2. It's not a bad running back to own by any means. It's better than when I was running like Travis Etienne out there and like most other teams' RB2s, aside from like a select few. Like, he's got a good running back core. So I don't know. I think in a long stretch, I just think Saquonda takes it, especially too considering the drastic tight end advantage. Mark Andrews has not had like over 20 points, I don't think, since like
I think since
first few weeks
he
of the
played
season.
you, since I played you, I think.
Yeah, probably. So, I mean, since then, I mean, he's just not been that great. And Kittle's been great since he came back from the injury. Like, having a tight end advantage is just not talked about enough when you do have a significant one. If you have a McBride, that's why neighborhood
A
lasted
McBride
so
or
long.
a Warren if you have one of these guys.
Yeah, a Warren. I mean, since Bowers has been back, I mean, I have to be biased, but he's been very solid, like, aside from the 1 week against Denver. Like, if you have a tight end advantage, it will get you certain weeks. So, I mean, looking back to, I mean, Hock Pacua podcast, that team, it's by no means a bad team on paper, and I'm not writing them off, but I like the boomer bust nature of Saquonda forever. I could see him just going nuclear for like 170 1 week and just really willing his way through it. I can't see the same with Hock Pacua. It's a very safe team. It's that Hock Pacua team. It's very safe across the board, and you can't be safe in the Mayo Bowl. I've never been there, but there's no such thing as being safe in there. You want to play risks, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
No, yeah, that's true. And with the thing with tight ends, like Kittle, Warren, and McBride, all are not in the playoffs. When you look at the playoffs, like the tight ends of the playoff teams, it's really just Brock Bowers. Like the rest of us have like either mid or like I'm hoping for Brenton Strange. Um Alex, I don't know if he still has Juwan Johnson in there. I mean
It's
like
Fannin.
Oh yeah, Fannin. Rags Gritty with is he still going with Oronde Gadsden? Like there's some
Dropped him today.
dropped him
Dropped.
today. I'm behind right now. It's just
Well, the weird thing is this: if you look at
right.
most playoff teams and like all the other leagues I'm in, I'm pretty sure like majority of them have like one of the playoff teams right now has McBride or Warren. I exclude Bowers and Kittle from that because they both missed like extensive time. Whether you want to say Bowers only missed like 4 weeks, he still played like injured for like 4 weeks too, and like was just putting up duds when he was injured. And then Kittle missed like what was it, like 6 weeks or something? Like both of them missed extensive time. The two tight ends who were like great for the entire stretch, they were on like most teams' rosters in other leagues. And along with that, anyone who rostered Ferguson in most leagues, they're probably a playoff team right now too, because he gave a significant advantage for like what was it, probably like an 8 week stretch at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of with Bowers, like he was hurt and then he came back and Gino was his quarterback. I mean
Yeah,
that's just tough. So he's really had to deal with a lot. He's done a lot with little, I think. Um, but yeah, honestly, I kind of overlooked T. Higgins on the bench. Again, not really up to date on much right now. I would say that I do want to bring up one more time, just one more time, that Ant declined to trade Marvin Harrison for Jameson Williams and instead traded Marvin Harrison for or rather
Yeah.
traded T. Higgins for Marvin Harrison. I got that wrong. It was Jameson Williams for T. But it's kind of interesting that he kind of more or less ended up with the worst player of the three that we were discussing there. But kind of your point, he just presses the wrong button. It is what it
it just
is.
happened. The other
Maybe
day he
next year.
told me. The other day, like he told me because I mean I offered him last week right before the deadline. He wanted Brian Thomas for what was it, for DK Metcalf, and I was like, I didn't really want BTJ because he sucks. At least this year he sucks. And I was like, I'll take Marvin. Not that I'm the highest on Marvin Harrison, but I'll do Marvin Harrison straight up. He was very staunchly against it. Now, right after the deadline, he goes, you really would have done that? I'm not going to say I would have done an offer if I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he pressed the wrong button last week because had he done Marvin Harrison for DK had a huge week last week. He put up like 23 or 24 points, whatever it was, and like I don't know, DK's DK, but that was his boom week when he needed a receiver. He might have won last week, I think. I'm
Oh, I
curious
don't
about
think he
that.
would have won. I think Gritty
Yeah.
Gang kind of
Did he? I don't even
yeah,
know. Oh,
kind of
yeah, no,
ran a train on him.
yeah. Well, okay, yeah, he still would have lost, but he would have had, I don't know, Watson had a huge week for him. Either way, yeah, no, he was just cooked. Cooked from the start. Yeah, no, no
Yeah,
good.
but I mean, Will does have T. Higgins on the bench, but you know who Ant has on the bench?
That's right. People
That's a league
forget.
winner if I've ever seen one.
What should be discussed, however, about Ant last week is Gibbs and Puka combining for 72. I mean that's outrageous that the two guys he traded to the Gritty Gang kind of went insane.
One
kind of
final fuck you.
yeah, one final fuck you. That's why you don't trade me. But yeah, it's going to be a super awesome, gonna be a
Rome
super awesome
Odunze.
Mayo Bowl, and I hope Roma Dunze draws his way into the lineup at some point. Come on, give us what we want.
We need it. We need it.
We need to see it this week, actually. Play him over CD.
If
Maybe he
CD's
will.
out, I mean, who else does he have? You know?
I mean, I guess Darnell Mooney, who was staunchly offered to me in straight trades as well. I guess staunch wouldn't be the right word, but
Ew.
he was offered to me in trades several times, and after that guy lost me a week when he dropped 2.1 points, and I lost by less than 2 points. I don't even know why he's on a roster. I just genuinely I don't understand. I know London's been out, but in the 4 weeks London's been out so far, he's had 1 week over 10 points.
It's not a
The other
passing
weeks,
offense with Kirk.
yeah.
I brought this up on an earlier episode, but maybe it's me. I just don't understand what some of these, the kind of thought process of a lot of these league members. Like, like you mentioned, Nick, that he wasn't going to trade Marvin Harrison to you. Or rather, sorry, I'm completely blanking on everything. But you mentioned that trade that he wasn't going to do, he was like firmly against. But then, like, trading Puka and trading Gibbs and trading Jamar. I mean, these are things we're gonna do. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But again, I think it's me.
No, I fully agree. I mean, I hold on to my stars till like the very end. Like Devin and Chain, for me to trade him, I knew he's been like he'd still be on a tear right now, and he was a top, arguably top three commodity through any position to own this year. But at the time, I knew it was a risk with London and Barkley, and yeah, it's not panned out how I've liked it. But when you look at the names on paper and what they've done in previous years, yeah, it made sense for me to take that risk at the time when my team wasn't performing. Now, to trade pretty much the two best guys the whole year for like a package of guys who are pretty much solid aside from like Jamar Chase, and then like if he waited on Bucky, different story. Because if he had Bucky right now, very different. But once you make a trade like that and you go, I'm going to trade for another guy who's hurt right now, the same way he did when he traded for CeeDee, you can't give that guy up then. You traded for Bucky, he was hurt. Now, if he had Bucky in the mail bowl, he'd be going off for him. Like, Bucky has looked great the last few weeks. If you're going to trade for someone who's hurt and have them in your long-term plans, you better hold on to them then. Same way, if you're going to trade low for someone like Barkley, when they're already low. Barkley's value never got higher. It's only going to get lower. Why am I going to even scrape for the scraps then? Like, it's not worth.
Yeah.
Completely
Although I
agree.
will say, because like I have Jamar and Bucky, and I got them from him. So far, it's kind of been a wash, which is not what I expected. Jamar hasn't been Jamar. Um, Devontae's been crazy. So I mean, I don't think having Jamar and Bucky is like a huge difference than him having
Listen, I'm not
Jamar and
But
saying
Chase.
it's.
having Gibbs and
That's a
Puka
bigger difference.
is.
That to me.
Yeah, I mean, but even like having Jamar and Bucky versus Jacobs and Adams, yeah, it's not like been a huge difference right now. It's been kind of a wash. And I'm not saying like it was a fleece on one end, but however, at the same time, you held Bucky for that long. You traded for him when he was hurt, when his value was low. And then right before his value becomes an all-time high, you trade him for that package, which it wasn't necessarily a terrible package or a bad package, but see what you got in him. His value would have been so high if he waited till he played. I mean, I don't know, did the deadline pass after he played? Was this his first week back or
I think it's
second week?
just second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the week
he
we
would have
made the
had.
trade, that's actually the reason why I even have the buy is because Ant beat Alex that week with um with Emmanuel Wilson and Devontae Adams, and I lost that week to Robbie. I scored like 60 points, and Devontae and Jacobs had like 70 points alone, and I thought I sold the division in doing that because I lost to Robbie, but it's kind of funny how it works out. Ant got his win for the week, but still ends up in the Mayo Bowl. That trade lost me the week, and I still somehow got the number one seed, which it's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, but it's like even too. I think right after I traded for AJ Brown too, like he had a big week, then he gets hurt, and then the week after he had 3.3. I got some offers, and they were all terrible offers, like the likes of like I mean, not saying that this is exactly what was offered, but it was like that realm of like Marvin Harrison kind of range players for AJ Brown, and I was like, I just traded for him. Why am I going to just trade him again for a win now? Because he had like an injury too at one point right after I traded him. It made no sense. And trading guys who you just trade for before you see a larger sample size, it's not worth it. And if their value after you give up immense value. You can't just trade him. Like, it makes no sense.
True, but
But I'm rooting for Ant.
I'm
I hope it
rooting for
works
yeah,
out.
Squanda.
it's
I'm
gonna be a
rooting it.
close one. It's tough
Be
to
great if they could both tie and then one person does the first 6.5 miles and the other finishes it out.
imagine. Ready for the dead tie down to the decimal? That would be
That'd
phenomenal.
be insane.
We're like, guys,
It's what
it's
the
a
people
shared
want.
punishment, but you do half and half.
Imagine
I'm
like
sure
back in
they'd
the
be
bar,
down.
it's like one person wears the shirt for an hour and a half and then you change clothes and the other person has to throw it on.
Yeah, oh, that'd be phenomenal. Oh, all right, hoping for the tie. So,
Fingers crossed. That's right.
The tie would be crazy. That would be wild.
and especially if Romo Dunze it contributes to the tie, that would be
If it's
phenomenal.
a tie, can it be a race?
Yeah. No.
Let's
Oh
make
yeah.
them
Oh,
race
a
then.
race to see like who the winner and loser is.
Who goes through all of Manhattan
It's like a
first, and
shootout.
yeah,
Yeah.
whoever doesn't make it has to do it again.
Yeah. It's literally a shootout. 3 crazy periods of fantasy football all down to one race. That would be something. Um, I'm sure they'd have an issue with that. But
Actually, I'm gonna add Boregalis right now and just kind of put my stamp on the Mayo Bowl so no one else can have him.
So,
Yeah.
who's your guys' favorite to win the championship? Can't include yourself, Dean.
I'm gonna go with Alex, and that's really based off of his roster and just having a down week last week that just I feel like equals an up week. But yeah, that's what I got.
I'm gonna say my team is DKing, pulls out the win against Kevin this week. Then I implode next week, and DKing shocks the world in the championship. I'm just being honest.
That's the good
I
end.
like I like a good underdog story, so that's where my head's at. Who you
Yeah,
thinking, Aiden?
I respect that take. I would say that of the six playoff teams, only four of them can win. I'm gonna bump Rob and Kevin Hall out. With all due respect to those two, of course, great competitors. But yeah, I would say that between you two, Nick and Dean, with Alex and Kevin Judge, those are the four teams that I think can win. And I would say, yeah, I mean, Dean, if you're going to take Alex, I'll probably just take Gritty Gang. I think those two teams are just head and shoulders above the rest, both completely aided by other teams this season.
Yes.
Um, and so they certainly did not get there themselves.
Yeah,
Should be
but
pointed out, but they have pretty awesome rosters and both are really, really strong.
you can't knock a guy for making deals and improving his roster. That was me last year, and I thought I was really going to win it all. I got Mike Evans for scraps from Pete. Um I got what's his name, Cooper Cup from you, Aiden, for
That's
Devonta
right.
Smith. I got Jamar and Josh Jacobs from Ant for AJ Brown and Kamara last year. Like my team last year was so inorganic. It wasn't like the team I drafted at all, and it was a powerhouse going into the championship. And maybe that's the reason the fantasy gods were like, you know what, you're not going to manufacture this team and expect to buy a ring like this. So maybe,
Well,
Yeah,
that's the weird reason why I'm kind of saying DKing has a chance because the playoffs are weird. Like
yeah,
Chris's team last year, he didn't make much trades last year, and then Bucky went on his miracle run around then, and T Higgins went on a miracle run in the playoffs. And like prior to last year, like everyone liked T Higgins, but nobody viewed like he boosted himself pretty much through the playoffs and everything. Obviously, he had a good whole year, but that playoff stretch boosted him into where Aiden took him in the draft. Like his whole team last year, like it wasn't like the favorite to win in the playoffs at all, but they won, and that's why I'm like DKing. He can do it. He can do it. We could be so back.
yeah,
I would say the team that could maybe be like, wow, I don't think that they can do it would be probably Rob's team. Um, I don't mean to be a broken record when it comes to DKing here, but that McCaffrey trade was just so horrific, and I think he would tell you that. Um, but yeah, I mean, who knows? Seahawks defense is capable of a lot of things.
Well, the thing with Rob's team though, which I'll harp on again, like is right now, yeah, like prior to this week, because London's out. I'd say his championship odds, like it's 3 week stretch, I'd put him at like 20%. If he beats Alex this week, I'd boost him up to like 60 something percent, like to be there just because like his receiving core then will no longer be an issue. Like Ladd will be the worst player on his whole team.
It's a
At
great
least
point.
Dean's trash ass team. No, I'm kidding.
No, your team's good, but it's like,
I'm
dude, like
joking.
his team's it becomes an instant powerhouse again if he can get past Alex and London ends up being healthy. But who knows? Because it's been all smoke screens. I thought London was going to be back last week when I traded him, and I just thought I didn't have him on Ross, so that's why I did the trade. But then Atlanta goes, nope, he's not playing last week, and now this week he just got ruled out again. Like it makes no sense whatever they're doing, and I don't even know if he's coming back at all this year. I'd like to hope so and think so, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I would just add that when it comes to your guys' teams, like I think both of you have really strong teams. Just maybe not necessarily like the quote unquote matchup proof players. I think like if either of you end up in the championship, I think that that just makes sense. I think both of you have really strong rosters, but just like you kind of need your guys to perform. And I know that's kind of like kind of doesn't really make sense, but when you think about like McCaffrey and Jackson Smith and Jigba, like when you just think about those two, it's like, oh, I know they're going to show up. And then like even when it comes to you, Dean, like with Bijan, I mean, just last week I think he put up 9. So like it, and again, like I know like JSN had a bad week 2 weeks ago and stuff like that, and it happens, but I just think there's probably less concern kind of just like going through it, and both of them kind of drew some pretty fortunate matchups, I'd say, for them. So yeah, it could go either way. It could go any way of those four. Maybe you say Rob is a dark horse, and then DKing is just happy to be there.
Yeah,
He's going for it all. He's got it.
that would be such a Vegas Golden Knights thing to happen. First year in the league.
Oh, yeah, that was what I was thinking was DKing's matchup this week versus the Gritty Gang. It's like Islanders Hurricanes team, like every
Yes,
time. It's
every
just like shit.
time. Yeah,
It's like God damn it.
yeah. I got to play Rags Gritty Gang.
God damn it. They're so annoying too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Their social media admin. Terrible.
Checking one more thing right now too. Did you add a defense for next week yet, Dean?
Yeah, I have my defenses. I think settled for the weeks 16 and 17. I'm
16
going
and
Chiefs
7.
next week. They play the Titans, I believe, and I picked up the Patriots today because they play my Jets for week 17, just in case, just if it comes to that. I'd rather have a option rather than not. I'm not saying I'll get there. It's a just in case thing. I had the Eagles lined up for this week in case I played in the first round, but I dropped them, and I know someone will pick them up because they are playing the Raiders. So yeah.
Yeah, my bench is it's a mix mosh of guys who are just good enough to be rostered by someone's team, but not good enough to start in a lineup. And it's like I don't want to drop anyone, but at the same time, I'd like to add a round 3 defense warranted. I make it there, but I don't know if I
Yeah,
drop any of these guys, someone will be added.
my whole bench is like handcuffs now, just like safety.
Yeah,
Like I literally have 3 Tampa running backs on my roster, and both Minnesota Vikings, which I'll never start them. I really don't know either there, and and yeah, and I hope Marvin Harrison doesn't play another game this season. I wish him a Hall of Fame career after this year, but Michael Wilson in my flex spot, that's something that turns losses into wins. So he's done miracles on me.
well, yeah. If he plays, I mean, if Marvin Harrison doesn't play another game, I have you winning the championship now. That's
Michael Wilson
now that
alone.
now that we say it.
Really.
If we get a
Oh, yeah.
3 week stretch of no Marv Michael Wilson, you probably win.
It's crazy with no Marv. He's like prime Cooper Cup. It's like 37 a week. It's ridiculous.
No, like last week, Dean, like, you were probably gonna win the whole time, but I was sort of just hanging around.
Yeah, I
And
was
then
scared.
Michael Wilson kind of kind of just ended all that. I mean, it was just every play was another one to Wilson, and then obviously he catches the touchdown, and that was that. Did he have two last week? I think he did.
Yeah, he had one really early, his first reception, and then
Yeah, that's
the
the one I
second one kind of
remember.
cemented it. Because yeah, the whole late 1 o'clock and the whole 4 o'clock window of games, I was like checking it. It was like 117, 116. You and I were both projected for, and I was nervous there. I was like, am I gonna have to play like Alex or Robbie or Kevin round one? Like, oh yeah.
No, I'm looking at your team right now because I haven't looked at it in a while. There's only one question I have. Why Brenton Strange?
Oh, if you look at it, he's actually been like he actually gets targeted there.
Let me
Um,
see.
he's had a good
Okay, yeah, he's
and
been solid the last 3 weeks.
yeah, Jacoby Myers took away a touchdown last week. Jacoby Myers set a pick in football. You can't do that, and Brenton Strange would have had it like 7, 8 more points.
Did you
So
try to get Fannin as well or no?
I didn't want to use my number one waiver claim.
Fair enough.
I don't know if Alex waited to pick him up, but I probably should have picked him up. I didn't stay up super late last night. I went to bed at like 11 p.m. Pacific time, which wasn't late enough to kind of beat everyone on.
Well,
on
you should add Gadsden.
Yeah, I might just
Yeah, you should
just like
add,
for the hell of
you
it.
should add Gadsden because he's awesome. He's another league winner.
No,
No,
I am thinking
He's
of
kind of like he's
yeah.
the Romo Dunze of tight ends.
I might pick up a second tight end just to like see if he's whoever it is a better option next week. But no, I like Brent Strange. I think if he gets that touchdown, that's 3 straight weeks coming back from injury where he has double digits, and that's all I want or need from a tight end.
It's kind of you mentioned Pacific time, Dean. Like I don't know if you recall, I woke up on like one of the weekend days, and it was like 4 a.m. Eastern, and I added Mason Taylor, and then you shoot me a text like you
Yeah,
bitch. I was
yeah,
like, what? I was like, damn.
yeah,
See, I'm a big Theo Johnson guy.
Next year's his year.
yeah. Yeah.
I like him.
Same
He's
with
been good
Mason
with
Taylor.
Dart.
It's too early.
Yeah, never wrong this early.
They're both gonna run New York. Yeah. Uh, well, oh, one thing we forgot to do is the Hock Pacua parlay. So, one pick we already have in there is Debo Samuel anytime touchdown. Nick, if you want to claim that one, or if you want to give another.
Uh, I'd like to do Barkley as well against the Raiders. They're just bad.
So we got Debo anytime. We got Barkley anytime. Aidan, if you have a
Let me
pick.
throw. Can I do Thursday games, or will this be out by then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, then I'll take Bucky Irving anytime tomorrow night.
All right. Yeah. That's the Hock Pacua parlay. Let's hope it
So
hits.
it's
Yeah.
Bucky.
Can we add
Bucky.
one more in there just to have it? But Harold Fannin.
Yeah.
Harold Fannin. I'll switch my pick to Harold Fannin. So you want to go
Okay.
Harold Fannin?
Yep.
And then, sorry, what were the other two?
Debo and Saquon.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
That's
I
beautiful.
like Fannin this week. I don't know why, dude. Like just a big fan this week. Rookie quarterback, and he's been getting targets against Chicago too. Like makes sense with Njoku out.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't go Njoku on a B word because this is for kids. So. No.
Right.
Well, we got that sponsorship inbound.
Yeah, we got that sponsorship coming. So it's no big deal.
Thanks for sponsoring us, Surfside.
But yeah, that wraps up our episode. Aidan, congrats on a terrific second half of the season. If the season was maybe 1 or 2 weeks longer, probably see Genting as a playoff team.
No need. I'm good with how it ended. And my last closing thought here, Dean, is that parlay is plus 1937. It's a juicy one.
That's great.
Good odds. That's good
Yeah.
odds.
Fantastic.
So we'll all be betting the Hock Pacua parlay this week.
Yeah. I guess they're all like, they're not guys that everyone would be running to pick, but I love all of them. I love all those picks.
I mean, I
Especially
guess
Debo with
Barkley's like
Mariota.
the only one, but like also, is he even like is he the most bet anymore? Like with how bad he's been?
Who?
or he's minus 120, I think.
Who's
Okay.
Saquon?
I bet week one he was probably like minus 300. Yeah, Saquon.
Yeah, that's actually interesting.
But yeah, thanks for having me on, Dean. It's
Yeah.
been a super fun season. Obviously this podcast added a wrinkle to it, but I think that it was a good wrinkle, and I'm excited for next year.
I would like to. I'd like to
Yeah,
just
hopefully
close
your
on.
season continues, Nick.
I hope so, and I'd like to just close on. Thank God I was in the Nader division. That's all I have to say. The Nader division is sick.
Me
Genting and
winning.
my Kamara played spoiler for the neighborhood, by the way.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Me winning the Alec division is such like a it's so funny when you like look at the points for and it's like
It's crazy.
all three teams below me like blow me out by like 200-300 and it's like hilarious how when you look at the matchups like how they work. Will having like only like 70 points less than me and having 3 wins, it's just nuts. Or 4 wins, however much he has, it's just you know, you take what you're dealt and you move on. So
Exactly.
A lot of people don't like
So
divisions.
many
I
league
can tell
members
you.
could take that advice, by the way, Dean. So many league members.
yeah. Well, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of this all season. Wish you all the best of luck. We all three of us get to chill this week. That's why you guys were the immediate thought to have on, especially with your great escapes, as we mentioned before. And yeah, I wish Nick, I wish you the best of luck. I hope to see you in the championship, just because it'd be fun, and I don't want to hear it from a Kevin if I do get there. And
It's not an escape, it's an opportunity.
yes,
Remember that. It's an
yes,
opportunity.
yes. So, and Aidan, I hope Genting has a great off season, and you guys bounce back next August, looking shiny.
We're already watching tape. We're already watching tape.
You got an advantage there.
Yeah, off season starts early. Here we go.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it.
Thank you for
Awesome.
having
Living a joke on a bitch. Living a joke on a bitch. Living a joke on a bitch. Living a what? Yeah. I go no living a joke on a bitch. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna none. Let me do a stitch. Yeah. Like impossible bitch. Like what's the sitch? Like what's the sitch? I'm living like million little bitch. I'm getting rich.